everybody to Daybreak. Sorry. I am so excited to be back. We've been gone for a month and we have finally returned, the triumphant return. And you might notice a few things different with this version, but I just want to thank you guys so much for joining us. We have an amazing show, two amazing guests, and an amazing game. And this game is actually new, so you might not recognize it, but hopefully it works well. And I thought of this in the car, and I really liked the idea, so I did it. And the card for it is one of my favorite cards I've done for a show. But yeah, before we begin with the show, I'd like to share some current events in my monologue. Recently, Netflix has put out a brand new show called Away. It has to do with a rocket that has taken off from Earth to the moon as a sort of like it's actually like a gas station, and then taken off from the moon to go to Mars. And it features Hilary Swank, and it's basically her having to deal with the troubles of her family at home and the troubles aboard the ship and with the ship itself. So it's not just for people who like space and Mars things and like Elon Musk or whatever. It can be for people like drama, because there's a bunch of drama that happens at home with her daughter and her father, and there's a whole, not in that way, but like there's a whole system of like drama happening on Earth, and then there's technical stuff happening on Mars, then there's arguments, there's drama actually on the spaceship, so it's not just for people who like the space aspect of the show. So if you like any type of show, I recommend watching it. It's absolutely amazing. It is free on Netflix, available now. I've started watching it. It is absolutely phenomenal. It just knocked everything out of the park. It was absolutely amazing. And finally, before I begin with the show with my first guest, I'd like to thank the people who helped me design and come up with ideas for this new edition. So thank you, Grace Maroney, Riley Crovinger, my parents, and actually Sam Lyric. Sam has helped me with the audio portion of this. And Grace and Riley have helped me with the design part of it, the whole distance between me and this, the way it's going to work. So I'd like to thank everyone who's helped me with the show, supported the show in the past. If you're brand new to the show, thank you for joining us. I hope you like the show. And if you've watched the show before, thank you so much for coming back. It means a lot for you guys to watch the show every single week at such an early time too. It's at 10 o'clock, which actually interferes with some people's schedules. But I'd like to thank the people who do make it, and thank the people who watch us on YouTube. So, yeah. But without further ado, I would like to welcome my first guest today. She works at a hospital with COVID-19 patients, and is going to be first guest here today on Daybreak 2nd Edition. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Hannah Hulett.
Hello.
Hello, Hannah. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I am amazing. How has your experience been with the whole COVID thing in a hospital?
It's been pretty nerve-wracking, but we've almost just kind of gotten into a rhythm. We have a really good team. I think that's what really makes it important of who your support's going to be
Right. Yeah.
Around you when you're having to deal with certain things. But overall, the hospital that I work for, we have, pretty good policies in place to protect us and protect our patients, and some things could definitely be improved upon.
Right.
But this is also new, that nobody knows really what the right thing is to do.
Speaking of protection, would you mind going over the things you use at the hospital to keep yourself safe? Like, what kind of equipment do you wear, and what procedures do you have to go through in order to keep the patient safe and yourself?
So it starts from the minute that we walk on hospital premises. When we come out of the parking garage, we all have to wear masks the whole entire time, the entire day. If we're walking in the halls, just because, just to reduce the risk of transmission. And also they're allowing hospitals to do surgeries now that are elective. So like joint replacements, things like that. So people are all coming in at the same time in the morning. So we go in, we go to our specific unit, we get tested, just our temperature, just to make sure that, we don't have any symptoms or anything. And then we clock in. And we just basically wear a mask. I usually, for myself, just because I'm in close contact with my patients, like as close as you possibly can be in labor and whatnot, because I work in a labor and delivery unit. Um, I usually wear like a surgical cap just because I've read different things that transmission can also be, on surfaces, including like hair, and I have long hair. So I bought like a couple surgical caps. So I'll usually wear my mask, my surgical cap, before I even walk in a patient room. And now recently they're always updating policies almost every day,
Right.
where we have to wear like goggles.
Hmm.
So just, some sort of like eye covering just so it doesn't get into your eyes if you're going to be like within 6 feet or of your patient or whatnot. So I always have my little goggles, and then my cap, and then my mask.
Have you ever worn those like full face shields, like the clear plastic, but it wraps around your head?
Yes. Usually if we go into the OR for like a C-section, we definitely have to wear those, like, so the procedure for when we actually have to test somebody for COVID is different. We have to wear a lot more than just the basic things that I talked about. So when you first go in and you are ruling out a person that has COVID, you have to, it's different on every policy. I can only talk for my unit. But if it's going to be aerosolized, that's when they mandate that, meaning like if you're testing somebody, if they're coughing, if they're sneezing, if it's in the air, you have to wear an N95 mask. But otherwise, you just wear the basic, just mask and goggles and a cap. So if you're going to go in and test somebody, obviously talking through it, you're going to have to wear your N95. Some people wear an additional mask on top of that. Then you wear your goggles. Then you wear the face shield that you're talking about.
Right.
Then you wear a gown, whichever PPE they have available at that time, and then your gloves. And yeah, so you have the face. The only time you really use that face shield is some people like in the OR, but definitely when you're actually testing someone.
Do you have sufficient protection at the hospital for everyone, or is it you have to? Because is there not enough for people? Do you think that there's sufficient?
No. So they have certain units in the hospital that are designated just for COVID patients.
Right.
But with our high-risk population of pregnant mothers, it's different. You can't just have pregnant people up on all these different floors.
Right. Yeah.
So the majority of are on our unit too. But so those units that are just COVID, they usually all wear N95s just because, patients could be coughing, it could be aerosolized at any time. But for us, for our policy, we only just wear the masks, and then if we're actually testing someone, then we wear an N95.
Okay.
It's only during testing. But I feel personally that regardless of, if the person is suspected of having COVID, they should have N95s available for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like going in and out of the room, period, just because you don't know if that person coughed or sneezed in the past 10 seconds,
Right.
and it could be in the air already, and you're going in there. And like where I work in labor delivery, it's like the ER of pregnant women.
Right.
So you don't know, what's going on until you actually get into that room. So do I think that they have supplied enough? No, but they're doing the best that they can with, I think, the situation and trying to make supplies last. Because again, with October coming around the corner,
Right.
they want to be prepared and kind of be scarce with supplies and save them if we need them if there's another spike.
With your job, so you said that you worked in the sort of pregnant area of healthcare. What is your job specifically, if you can?
Everything that has to do with. So basically, we can have patients that are coming in just for ruling out labor. We can have people that are about to deliver. We have to rush them into a room and get them, everything set up for the room, because usually like delivery kits, and you have to have the baby warmer, because it's not just the mother that you're being ready for, it's the baby. So we have people that are scheduled for C-sections. So sometimes you're like the primary nurse, and you have to go back and you're in charge of making sure everything's set for the C-section, make sure they have their labs, make sure they have fluids, make sure anesthesia's set, making sure that the providers are there. You're like basically the coordinator of everything.
Oh, wow.
For the patient.
Yeah.
So besides like having people coming in, you're triaging them for different things, just to rule out to make sure nothing's wrong. You have a lot of scheduled things, or you're having people that are getting induced and scheduled for deliveries.
Yeah. Your job seems very difficult to do and nerve-wracking when you go in. When you step out of your car, how nervous are you to go into work and feel that, okay, I have to do all this work and hopefully not get COVID? Like, how do you cope with that?
So, and initially, it was definitely nerve-wracking, especially when we were having the big spike and we were actually having a lot of people trying to come up from the city because the city wasn't allowing like support people. So we were getting people calling, hey, can we come up because they didn't even have, anybody that they're seeing up in this area, but they wanted just to come just because they couldn't have a support person. So you're having people that are in the city where it's the highest amount of COVID
Right.
trying to come here. So that was especially nerve-wracking. But right now though, I think now that I've gotten used to it. I mean, I guess used to it as you can be. I'm not as scared about it because I have my own like routine that I do besides wearing my own protection for myself. Like I come home, I make sure that, I take off my clothes immediately when I come home. My kids know not to come and even touch me or talk to me. I go right upstairs, I take a shower. So I have my own things in place to make me feel better. And I'm almost at home been more like crazy about like making sure all my surfaces are clean. Like if I can make my house like a sterile environment as possible,
Right.
then I can kind of makes me feel better. So I've gotten like feeling better about COVID just by doing my own
That's
things.
good. And when you said the city, do you mean Albany or New York City?
New York City.
Oh, people came all the way up there. Wow.
Yeah, so they had to actually, the chief medical OBGYN for our hospital had to come up with a new policy that they had to, have established care for 2 weeks. And with a provider up here, like he had to put some restrictions on it because if not, we would have had a huge influx of patients coming up. And we had some, but not too many.
How many patients do you receive that has to do with COVID? How many do you, if you know, how many patients does your hospital receive with COVID cases or possible COVID cases?
I don't know an exact number, and I can't really give an exact number, but I can give you an idea of how it is right now. Is that initially when COVID started, they had there's different buildings in the actual hospital itself of different sections as they built on, and
Right.
the one huge building, it was like 6 floors, was all designated initially for COVID patients. It was all negative pressured. They had med surg the nurses that were initially for different specialties, they were designated and put in those units just to anticipate an influx of COVID patients. Well, about 2 months ago or 3 months ago, since we didn't have too many people coming in, they've actually shut all those units down. So we only have like 2 units now that are designated, like the ICU and another unit that's specified for COVID patients. So it went from a whole building to only two.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. So it's actually not as bad, but then again, it's the summertime and
Right.
we'll see what happens in the fall.
Uh, are you ever nervous that you could get in contact with a doctor or nurse who has to deal with COVID patients and contract? Like, how often do you come in contact with doctors from those two units?
We don't normally, if anything, we don't like the only doctors that we really come in contact is if they have to consult somebody like a pulmonologist or something that we're trying to, if we think that the patient has COVID, which at least now the tests are a lot quicker, so we can kind of know, um, within 1 to 3 hours if they are. But those are like the only physicians that are going in between those kind of units, and also like respiratory therapists, but they kind of restrict which ones are going up there and which ones are coming to us just because we have such a high risk population with the babies. They've actually done a good job with kind of, keeping people that are designated for those
Right.
units there and then having separate for us.
And I don't know if you can answer this, but with your job with the whole pregnancy, if a mother comes in with COVID but is in labor, how do you deal with that?
We have to treat them like any other patient.
Okay.
The only difference is obviously the protection that we're wearing because we're coming in contact with a lot of different fluids. So we have to make sure we're completely gowned. At that point, we probably would wear like the face mask. I personally am all about wearing the N95 at all times, especially because you don't know when that person's going to have the baby. We're definitely monitoring the mother's O2 levels more just because of COVID.
Right.
But I mean, there's a lot of times that people can have COVID and they don't even have any symptoms.
Wow.
So it's just really just about protecting yourself and making sure the labor goes smoothly. And it's just like any other labor, other than, it's you build really strong bonds with your patients during labor. Like there's some patients that end up having their children named after you, or you end up you being their godparent. Like it has happened, but when you're all gowned up and it makes it kind of more of a sterile environment, I think that's the only thing that kind of changes that aspect.
Right.
But you just have to treat it like any other labor.
And probably the final question. Has medicine in the pregnancy area always been something that you've wanted to do, or did someone or something inspire you to go into this line of work?
Like as a nurse, or as in what I'm doing right now? Like
What you're doing right now? Like who?
So, I went into nursing because of my sister Sarah, and I also wanted to do med surg because she's been a nurse for like 20 years. But for my specialty, it's something I've always wanted to go into, but it's a hard thing to get into because a lot of people want to get into it. They want to be like dealing with babies and stuff. But I had to do like a lot of experience before then. Like I had to do like 2 years of med surg experience, which I did that. Plus, I have a background in pediatrics and a lot of other things that I was able to actually work with. So I love what I'm doing, and I definitely am. It's one of my favorite specialties I've ever worked in. I've had a lot of experience with like dialysis, urology. I said pediatrics, along with orthopedics and med surg, but this is definitely my favorite.
And I don't know if you saw, I think it was the second to last episode of the first edition, but Cora came on the show and she wanted to go into, I think it was medicine that had to do with sports medicine.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems medicine is very abundant in your family. Like your family loves going into the medical field.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, we must have like a scientific brain or something, but also I think it comes into a money aspect. I think initially I think we all want to try and make a good amount of money, but also do what we love. But I think a lot of us were just, I don't know, ever since I was younger, I was always amazed at the human body and, how self-sufficient it can be and
right.
how you can bounce back from some serious things. And I've always wanted to learn more about like how that happens and why. So that's why I've just continued to go to school for my entire life. And I'll probably won't stop until I don't have to pay my loans anymore.
What jobs have you worked previously before this one at the hospital with the pregnancy?
So initially, I got my licensed practical nurse as LPN when I was living in California. I moved back here and I started working in dialysis. So I was doing dialysis treatments for patients and accessing their central lines and things like that. And then I did pediatrics where I worked on a vet unit with kids.
That's nice.
Total care. And then I also worked in a urology office where we would do all types of things there. And then when I became an RN in 2017, I started on a med-surg ortho floor. So med-surg means like medical surgical where you can get anything really up on that. But it was mainly an orthopedic post-operative orthopedic floor where you would have people that had like joint replacements, back surgeries, shoulder repairs, things like that. And I worked there for like 2 years. But you could also get anything that came up from the ER from overflow that could go to other units.
Wow.
So
you've done everything.
Yeah, I've done a lot. That's when people are like, "What have you done before?" And I like start rambling on. They're like, "Wow." But that's one of the things is also with being a nurse is like I get bored easily. So this is the best like job that I have because if I do get bored, I can always go into a different specialty and so that's it's very like pliable to what you want to do.
Right. Well, we are unfortunately out of time, but I'd like to thank you so much for coming on. It was a wonderful interview. Good luck when you go back to the hospital on Monday, I think. So
yep.
Be safe and thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me. Bye.
All right, so that was my interview with Hannah Hulett. She is going to go back to the hospital on Monday. Wish her well, and I'd like to thank her specifically for coming on the show, and everyone that works at the hospital and everyone that works at every hospital. Thank you for risking your health to protect ours and giving up your free time, well, not really your free time, but your time to help us be safe and healthy. So thank you. But my second guest is someone who has been affected by the coronavirus restrictions. He was my friend back at DS. Everyone, please give a very warm welcome to my friend Hunter Rich.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I think I joined too early.
Oh no, it's fine.
Oh.
It's a little bit of delay on your side, so it's fine.
All right, cool.
But how are you?
Hey, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, how are you?
I'm amazing. I'm slightly nervous, but I'm great.
Yeah.
How has so school's returning in a week or a week and a half? How are you feeling about going back?
I'm feeling pretty good. I'm excited to see everyone. Excited to meet my new teachers.
Yeah.
I feel like I think I'm mostly excited to go back to school. Definitely. Yeah.
Do you know your schedule yet, or is that?
Yeah, our schedules came out. Our schedules came out pretty recently, actually. Yeah. So I know my schedule. It's like 2 days you go into school, and then the other 2 you're remote, and including Wednesday. Everyone's remote Wednesday. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the way we do it is we have 2 cohorts and we alternate days. So Monday would be 1 cohort, Tuesday would be. But you're saying that 1 cohort would be Monday and Tuesday, Wednesday everyone's home, and then Thursday, Friday then.
Yeah. Well, it goes by grade. So 9th graders and 10th graders go Monday, Tuesday. So that's going to be us, and then 11th and 12th graders go Thursday and Friday, and then Wednesday is a remote day for everyone.
Does that include teachers, like teachers who, like, what if teachers teach 3 grades? Do they go in both sections of the week, or do you have different teachers?
I don't really know. I'm assuming that probably if you teach like 3 grades or something like that, you go in probably both days. But there's this like weird system that the school did where if you're a teacher, you can go teach remotely while the students are in school.
Okay.
And it's like a recipe for disaster because like the kids that cause trouble will cause trouble.
Yeah.
So it'll be tough to figure out. And I mean, I'll see how it goes, and if it's going badly, I'll probably switch to just all remote. But yeah, I'd have to see how it works out.
Do you think that your experience will be better than last year's COVID-19 little fiasco at the school, or do you think because it'll be more under control, or do you think it'll be worse?
I think it'll be a lot. When we were doing remote the last time, basically all you do is you'd go on a Zoom, you'd say hi to the teacher and say hi to everyone else. They'd tell you what to do, and you get off the Zoom and do whatever you were supposed to do. But I'm assuming this year, I'm pretty sure what they're gonna do is they're actually gonna do a lot more teaching on Zoom, and then they're gonna do teaching, so then you can like do your assignments with the teacher. So it'll be a lot better. It won't be the same as school, regular school, but it'll be a lot better than the remote that we did last year.
Yeah. Were your sports impacted? So I know that you've done a variety of sports for your life. Were the school sports impacted? Were they canceled? How is the social distancing players work in the field?
Well, so last year, lacrosse got canceled for the spring, but this year, they divided up the sports into low, moderate, and high risk.
Okay.
And I run cross country in the fall, and that's I think a lower moderate sport, so they're going to allow it, but you have to wear a mask to practice, and then when you're stretching and all that, you practice social distancing. You'll practice social distancing kind of throughout it, and then when you run, you don't have to wear a mask because you're running in the woods, and then when you come back, you have to wear a mask. But I don't know about spring sports yet. I'm a little worried though because my brother's town basketball season just got canceled.
Oh.
So and that's in the winter. So I don't know how lacrosse is gonna work out, but I hope it gets it goes on, which would be great. Yeah.
Yeah. With lacrosse, I've never played lacrosse, but just from observing it, it looks like the most difficult part of that sport would be catching the ball when someone throws it at you, because basically like attaching a mitt to the end of a baseball bat and trying to aim it until
Yeah.
it's over here. So how difficult is it actually get in the net?
It's difficult at the start, but once you get the hang of it, it's pretty easy. I'd say the most difficult part for me about lacrosse is probably um doing things with my right hand because I'm a lefty, so
Oh,
I can do stuff pretty good with my left hand. But I think the thing that holds me back the most is that I can't do a lot of stuff with my right hand. So that it's just I say that's the most difficult part is that I need to probably work on my other hand more. Yeah.
with the game, what is the ball made out of? It doesn't. Is it
Um.
a rubber thing?
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure it's like a cement ball. What? Wait, no, what happened here? Oh, never mind. Okay. It's a cement ball, and then you wrap a. I'm pretty sure it's like a bunch of rubber around it, so that it's kind of like it still hurts a lot if it hits you, but
Yeah,
it's like kind of a cement. It's basically cement and then rubber all around it.
I would imagine because how you must have to throw those pretty hard.
Mm-hmm.
That must really hurt if it hits you. I remember we used to find them all over the back of the school and the
Oh
line.
yeah,
We actually we play with them all.
I know. Yeah, you throw them and then you wait it to bounce and then you grab
Yeah,
it.
but if they're made of concrete rubber, that got really hurt.
Yeah, no, yeah, it does hurt, especially if someone's shooting the ball. Like one time I was playing attack, which is like the main offensive position.
Right.
I was playing center attack, but I had never played center attack before, so I kind of had to figure it out along the way. And then there was a fast break, so our team got the ball on, and we were all running down the field, and there was like three defenders there. And then one of the guys shot the ball, but I was like right in front of it, so I kind of just ducked, and it just like slammed right into my thigh.
Oh,
Hurt, yeah, but I mean, it didn't hurt that bad. I think it was because I was kind of more focused on the game than
right.
in the moment. I feel like if it just hit me and I was just like messing around, it probably would have hurt a lot more. But I don't. I think I was just I ignored it a lot more. But I'm sure it would have hurt a lot more if I was like really in the really not like focused at all or anything like that. You know.
And you wear a helmet. I mean, you have to.
Yeah. So you wear a helmet. It like kind of covers up to your like right here on your neck, and then it goes all around. And then there's a face cage right here, so you can see out of it. And then it goes down like below your chin, and usually goalies they'll put an extra like extension on the helmet, so it'll be like this thing, and it goes below the helmet, so it gets here, so that a ball like if someone shoots it, it can't go like hit your neck or anything like that.
Right. Is it fair to say that lacrosse is a combination of like baseball, football, and soccer? There's a net you have to get the ball to. With baseball, it's sort of stick, and then with football, it's throwing it to one another, and with the whole face mask and everything.
Yeah, I'd say football is definitely a combination of it. Cause like the hitting part and everything, but I think maybe for like soccer and baseball you could say it's running, but I'd say it's more of a combination of like with hockey.
Oh.
I'd say hockey. If you play hockey, it definitely helps you out a lot. So does actually some basketball moves. Like I heard that if you because the dribbling of the basketball and like you're dodging everyone and everything, it helps out a lot with lacrosse. So I've been trying to practice that too. So I'd say like it's kind of like more like football, hockey, like basketball, and then it has some aspects of baseball and soccer, and I guess like the running part because you have to run a lot in lacrosse.
Hmm.
Mm.
With actually playing the sport, has anyone seriously injured playing the sport? Or just get bruises from the ball.
I know Carson Hola, he's gotten a concussion 3 times, or I don't know, but he's had a concussion 3 times. I don't know if all 3 of them from lacrosse, but one time like he was just like playing lacrosse and some guy like shot the ball and he was wearing a helmet and it hit him right in the head with the helmet. He still got a major concussion from that. And Luke Sven, I think he like broke his foot, or broke like something in his leg from being a goalie. And then like you can also like I'm sure like tear ligaments and stuff like that like you do in basketball, like your ACL or something. Ty Myrick dislocated his elbow last season.
Ow.
I know, yeah. And then what other players and like actually kind of hurt, but I don't really know. But I one time this like didn't like I think it was just more like a scare. It didn't really like hurt me that much, or it wasn't really more like it wasn't a serious injury. But I got like checked in the I had this one helmet for the longest time. I'd gotten a new one, but the face cage like went down to like here. It didn't go below. So like I got checked right here on the neck. It wasn't like that. It didn't hurt that bad, but it was kind of it was more of a scare than a thing. I had to sit out a little bit, but it was definitely a scare. Definitely. Yeah.
Ow. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm like I'm not picturing, but I'm picturing feeling it. It's
Yeah.
Oh God. Are you playing any other sports beside lacrosse?
Yeah, I'm running cross country in the fall.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And you said it was low risk, and that makes sense. You're probably farther apart. Where? So I know the campus well. You go on the trail that's sort of to the soccer field. Where do you do cross country?
Well, so.
Hunter. Oh.
You know the field. What?
Sorry, never mind. You're good. Your audio went bad for a second.
Oh, okay. So you meet up, but like you know where the turf field is, and then there's like those baseball fields.
Yes.
You kind of meet up like on the baseball fields. The first part of practice kind of do core and like stretching.
Right.
And then it depends. Kind of sometimes we'll run on those fields where we meet up, and other times we'll go to the back fields and go on the trails there. Our races, if we're running at home, our races are on the backfields. There's like a little trail on the backfields, and then it goes from there. And then if we're running away, we just go to like wherever the track is. And then sometimes we'll do races with like a bunch of other running clubs and schools. Like some of them are in one of them's in Rhode Island, one of them's in Rentham. The other ones are like Connecticut or New Hampshire, maybe.
Oh wow.
I think so. We'll do that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How far, like during a practice, how far on average do you struggle?
What?
How far in practice do you try and go? Like a mile, 2 miles?
Well, it definitely depends. Sometimes, like, we'll run as far as 6 miles during a practice.
Oh, wow.
I know, yeah. Those are the bad days. Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes if we're doing a running workout, we'll run like a couple 100 meters, but sprinting kind of. And then if we're doing a hill workout, we'll just like run up a hill, and then like we'll do something like that where we'll run up a hill, maybe walk down, sprint back up it again, or something like that, and then we'll do those hill workouts. And then usually when we're just running, we'll do like between 2.5 to 3, maybe 4 miles if we're just like running, and then sometimes we'll do long runs like that. We'll run 5 or 6 miles.
Wow, I would not get 5 miles. How, like, are you allowed to walk if you get super tired? Because like, if I were trying, I probably could make it. But I'd have to like jog, then walk for a little bit, then start jogging again. Are you allowed to walk? Only.
They don't want you to. It's kind of more like they don't. I feel like at the beginning of the season it's a lot more acceptable because maybe you haven't been running at all during the summer. But definitely in the mid to end of the season or like the late beginning, kind of, it's not really like acceptable. You kind of have to keep running. I'm sure like you can walk a little bit, but they really want you running. Like one time during one of the first days of practice, I literally had to like untie my shoe while I was running just to get a little bit of rest. Like, and then I'd retie it. I stopped and then I retied it. So.
Right. Do you do anything? Sorry. Do you do anything else besides lacrosse, or is it just?
Well, for a little bit, I played soccer for a while. And then I played baseball up until like fifth
I remember
grade.
that.
Yeah. And then I haven't played. I really only run cross country and lacrosse, but sometimes me and like some kids from the neighborhood will go like do a football game or something, or like a little football game. So I mean, like I do those sports as kind of hobbies now, but I don't play on like a team or anything like that anymore.
Is there a reason you stopped doing baseball on the team?
It's because, as you know from Owen, I have terrible hand-eye coordination. So it's definitely like part of that. I think I also got benched a lot. Like I was littler, like third, fourth grade. And then fifth grade, which was my last season, was probably my most fun because I had one of my dad's friends as the coach, and then like he was really nice, and he wasn't like all the other coaches that were super competitive. He kind of just did it for fun. So he'd play us all kind of a lot, and then like he'd let you play positions that you wanted to play. But by that point, I just was so fed up with the other coaches and everything that I just didn't want to play it anymore. So I stopped. And then I played soccer up until eighth grade, and then I liked soccer. It was fun, but I kind of wanted to try something new, and I wasn't like a great soccer player at all. So I just was like, okay, I'll just do cross country instead, because I was too small to play football. So I thought I just wouldn't be too good at that sport either. So I just decided to run cross country. Yeah.
I don't know if you were playing at the time, but I played. Well, and he's absolutely crushed me, but I can't hit at all. I miss all the time. I can't hit the ball,
Yeah.
which is not great for playing baseball.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. I can't, like, when I played baseball, I could never catch a pop fly.
Oh,
Yeah. I know. I could never catch those, and it was so annoying because everyone else could catch them. But yeah.
well, I missed one of them. I usually catch them, but I missed one of them one time. It went through my arms. I held the glove, and it hit my leg. It was a really high pop fly. I was like on the ground. It hurt so much.
Yeah.
I just had to walk it off and get back in the game. It was just beginning, actually, so I had to stay there for like 9 seconds. One
time was my first time playing baseball, and I was playing with this older kid, and he hit this really high ball, and I like went under to catch it, but I had my glove, so it was like almost touching my face.
no.
And the ball, like when the ball hit the glove, like it reduced the impact a lot, but it still hit me in my face. It was basically like a baseball hitting you in the face, kind of. I know, yeah, that hurt. Yeah, it wasn't too fun.
So did you say that you stopped in fifth grade?
Yeah, I think I stopped fifth, maybe sixth grade, but I think I was done playing. I'm pretty sure I stopped in like fifth grade.
Yeah, the stories I can remember from games, even though I didn't love baseball, it's still pretty fun to look at how terrible it is.
I know, yeah, it was quite some times where I was just like, what am I doing here? Like this, some of those moments. Oh my god, yeah.
Well, unfortunately, 10:40, so we have to late interview. But it doesn't mean that we're done because we have a brand new game never before seen on Daybreak called Playing Favorite. But so the rules of this game is I'm gonna say a number of things, and tell me your favorite of them. It seems cheesy, but we can get funny answers out of these, and they could be really hilarious. So, I actually really like the name of the game. It was one of my favorite names I've created. But all right, so what is your favorite commercial? It can be a commercial series or just an individual commercial.
Okay, so it was this Sonata commercial. So it was basically there was these two people, and like there were these three actors from Boston. It was the guy that played Captain America, the guy that played Jim on The Office, and then there was this other woman, I forget her name.
I think Amy Poehler.
Yeah. And then they were all talking their Mass accents, and then it was like John Krasinski pulled up and he was like, and then they were like, hey, how's it going? Or something like that, and he's like, yeah, wait, let me pack it, and he had like park his car or something. So
yeah,
and then, like he's like, you can't pack it in there, and then he had like, and he was like, yeah, I can. And he was like, and then he had like it was a Sonata, so it had auto park or something,
right.
or, like could park it or something. It was just so funny. It was a great commercial. What? Yeah.
I actually that's one of my family's favorite commercials. They love that commercial.
Oh, really? Yeah. Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. My favorite commercial is I don't know if I watch a lot, and I tend to get the Reese's Not Sorry commercials. I think Kevin James is, and they're short, but they're funny.
I know. It just makes me mad because I want to Reese's so bad, but like we haven't. So it's just difficult for me to watch those because I just want Reese's so bad.
They made peanut butter really delicious. What is your favorite number?
My favorite number? Gee, I don't know actually. It's kind of like, well, for lacrosse last year or 2 years ago, I had the number 35, so I really like that number. Sometimes like 13, I feel like it's like a good number because I don't know, it's like unlucky, but like I could make it lucky or something like that. I don't know, 27, 25, they just seem like good numbers. 21, definitely. 18.
Favorite, so this is an interesting one. Favorite letter?
Favorite letter?
Yes.
Probably H, because that's like the first letter of my name, so probably an H. Yeah.
Actually, the reason I came up with this is because I hate the letter P.
Really?
Of all time. Just in almost every word, I hate the way it sounds, especially in the word cusp. I hate it. It just bothers me. So I wonder what people's favorite letters are, so that's where that came from.
Nice.
Favorite word to say?
Favorite word to say? I don't know. I really have like a sentence that I like to say.
Oh.
It's from that same commercial I was talking to you about. They were like it was the start of the commercial, and like this guy was trying to park his car and he couldn't. And then like one of the guys, I'm pretty sure it was Chris Evans, he goes, "Hey, look at this guy." So I say that a lot sometimes.
I heard you say.
Yeah.
My favorite word is convoluted, just because I like it.
That's a good one.
Yes, I like the sound of big words. They sound like it makes me sound. What is your favorite YouTube video to watch?
Favorite YouTube video?
Yeah.
That's really difficult. God damn. I mean, I have favorite YouTube channels.
Okay, what's your YouTube channel?
Probably like Mr. Beast.
Okay.
I really like Mr. Beast. He does like all these really cool video ideas, stuff like that. Yeah.
Right, and our final one, and if I don't like your answer, I'll be very mad. Your favorite taco?
Taco?
Taco.
Talk show Daybreak.
Yes.
Daybreak. Definitely, man. Like the best talk show ever, man. Yeah.
It is, yes.
So amazing. So amazing.
Well, I'd like to thank you so much for coming on. It was a really fun game.
Yeah.
I'm actually glad. I was a little nervous to be too childish, but
No. It's a great game. Definitely a great game. Thank you for having me on the show. Yeah. Definitely.
Great interview. Game, so thank you.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah. All right. See ya. Bye.
All right, so that was my interview with Hunter Richards and Hannah Hulett. I will probably reuse some of this game. I will do different favorites, of course, but I will definitely do it again because I think it was really fun. But I'd like to thank everyone so much for watching the show. Before I end, I'm just going to go over a little bit of the different changes we've done. So I have a new lighting system, as you saw at the beginning if you were there. I can toggle it on and off, which I really like. I have a microphone in case the sound doesn't work well. So I have a microphone and an amp. And I can actually charge my iPad while I'm talking, so that's nice. I'm doing it right now. I have pens, and I have a whole setup in front of me, which you can't see. I just have a desk where I put my stuff. I'm sitting on a stool. I have different footrests in case I want to sit in a different position. I'm going to finish the show like this, actually. So I'd like to thank everyone so much for watching Daybreak. It's been a true pleasure to be the host, even though I came up with it. But it was a great pleasure to do this, and the support it's garnered is absolutely amazing. I did a story this morning, very early in the morning, asking people who is excited for Daybreak Second Edition, and it was 100% yes. I would have been a little sad if there was a couple no's, but everyone said yes, and it made me really happy. So I'd like to thank everyone who has supported this and who has watched it and has watched the YouTube videos or watched it on Facebook or done anything that has to do with Daybreak. So thank you everyone so much for watching, and I am so happy to be saying this again. I'll see you next time at Daybreak. Bye everybody.